everyone, it's Maddie. Welcome back to my channel, and today is week 2 of National Diabetes Awareness Month. I'm going to go through the next 7 different prompts or questions regarding diabetes and management from Reba Redmond's Instagram. Again, I'll remember to link her down below. And if I mention any previous videos of mine or some sort of link to whatever, I will try to remember. I usually say I do, but I always forget to put it down below. I don't know if it's just me like trying to edit and get these up so quick that it just blows my mind that I can't think to do it, or I just get so involved with other portions of being a YouTuber that like putting things in the description box, it doesn't like, I don't know, it's something that's not a priority. But anyways, I hope that makes sense, and we'll go through the next 7 questions. If you see redness on the back of my knuckles, that's because I just rammed my hand into a wall and it hurts like heck right now, so I'm kind of like trying to shake it off. This is my right hand and I need this to work, so I hope it doesn't like bruise or something. I feel like it might because I'm really bony, so if any time I hit anything like hard, it's like, ooh, that doesn't feel good. Alright, anyways, so looks like, well, this is technically question number 8, but I will go through the next 7 questions on this list. So the first one for this week is advice for newbies. So newbie meaning like, are you a newly diagnosed diabetic within the first maybe even up to a year, I guess. My advice for you is to take it day by day and know that you're not going to be perfect. And I think initially when I was first diagnosed, I think I wrapped my head up in being so perfect that I actually wasn't taking as appropriate care of myself as I could have. I was really just reducing my food. I wasn't I was doing my life and enjoying what I loved, but I wasn't enjoying it to the maximum capacity. And you're going to have days where you're going to be burnt out. These past 24 hours have been terrible for me. I had air in my tubing and my Dexcom was acting wonky. I pulled it off. I still have this like weird band-aid on it with antibiotics yet because I pulled it off and it was red, and then the site where it inserted was very almost like not infected, but it was very puffy and swollen. Now my sensor was restarted, so I mean, I guess that technically could be part of it. I don't know if I'll be restarting my sensors for much longer, just because I'm not getting the best accuracy with them. As of recent, Dexcom must have done some things to make it a little bit more challenging to restart those things. But anyway, you're going to have days where it's going to be really difficult for you to get through diabetes. You're going to have bad days no matter what you do. Insulin might be like water. Nothing you will do will work. You may end up going to the ER for something, related to this disease. Just take it day by day, and you're going to have those bad burnout days. And my third piece, or kind of, I guess, second piece, I guess if you want to count burnout and, taking it day by day as one piece, is to really befriend a lot of people that have the same disease as you, because they're going to fully understand what you're going through, and they're going to understand your frustrations as well as your celebrations. And I cannot emphasize enough how important pretty much any social media, but a real safe space is Beyond Type 1. I've been on Beyond Type 1 for over 3 years, over 3.5 years. I've been on that site since about 4 or 5 days after I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. It's incredible how quickly I found that site, and it's been nothing but a blessing for me, and I know it's been a blessing for other people. Now, there are some people on there that have trolled and scrolled through a lot of people, including women like myself, and it's not appropriate. There's going to be some bots on there, but we all pretty much get together and kicked out those bots on a regular basis. But it is a really good resource for anybody, and I know a lot of younger people and older people have come to me feeling very comfortable, wanting to talk to me and wanting to be a part of this, I don't know, not necessarily just this YouTube channel, but on my social media, and that means a lot. That I have a lot of people that trust me and feel comfortable talking to me, and I have a lot of people that I, in turn, feel comfortable talking to. So that is my biggest advice if you're a newbie. Really take it day by day, understand you're going to have bad days, as well as make friends, and I highly, highly recommend Beyond Type 1. Number 2 for today is changing the Lancet. This is technically a Lancet Change Monday, but it is not Monday, it is Friday. So I need to pause this video, I will get up and I will grab my Lancet and a new one, and I will actually change it, because I will put my hand over my heart that I do not change my Lancet like I should. And I think that's any experienced diabetic or like longish term diabetic will tell you, like, you do not change your Lancet every time you poke your finger. I am so guilty of not doing that. So I'm gonna grab my Genteel and a new Lancet, and I'm going to physically change my Lancet for you guys. Alrighty people, I am back. So as you can tell, I have a yellow Lancet, maybe a yellow Lancet inside of my Genteel right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull it out. Now I need to lubricate my O-rings and clean out my whole entire plunger in here because it's getting a little stiff when I go to deploy it. I have a hard time getting this to go down without squeezing it ungodly hard. So it tells me that the O-rings on here, as well as the O-ring with inside this barrel or this chamber, need to be lubricated and completely cleaned off, and I run distilled water through this. I know I did a process on my channel. I'm going to remember to link it down below, and if I don't, y'all can attack me in the comments. You forgot to link it. So I saved the little caps because I don't want to poke anybody, even though I put it in a sharps container, and I'm going to put a blue one in. And I'm going to poke myself and see what my blood sugar is because I'm waiting for a Dexcom to warm up, and I just put it on, and I've been out without one since 2 o'clock this afternoon because I had to rip my old one off, and it's now like 8 o'clock at night, and I've been playing guessing games a little bit with my blood sugar. Now I was like really high earlier, not like, it was like 200 and something. It was like, ugh, I feel like crap. So I took a bunch of insulin and I got it down to 102, and now I don't know what I am. And I just ate a bunch of food and I took like 7 units and prayed to God that it's gonna work. So we're gonna see what I'm at actually. So we'll use the Lancet, but I'm gonna use this Lancet multiple times. I'm not going to waste it. So I'm gonna be that naughty diabetic again and not change my Lancet for a while. But anyways, hold yourself accountable. If you start noticing it hurts, change your Lancet. And in Maddie's situation, she needs to clean her Genteel. So, and I will remember to link that video down below, because if I don't, guess what? You can attack me in the comments. You can like say, hey, you know, Missy, I want to know more about how you clean the Genteel. Great. Well, I will remember to link it. So, let's see what I'm at. This is why I love the Genteel. I did a review on this too a long time ago. Oh, great. Another video I should link. This is like next to my left index finger. My left palm is my like biggest spot that I like to poke myself because it doesn't really hurt. My job definitely requires, I don't have enough blood. Okay, my job definitely requires me to use my fingers a lot, and the last thing I need is for them to feel like crap and hurt. So I poke my palm a lot. I've also done the top of my kneecap. I've done my forearm. That's about the only spots I've done. Hey, not as bad as I thought. I'm happy. I was expecting like 250 because I feel really kind of 174, which if you are in another country, that is pretty close to 10 millimoles per liter. I will put the conversion down here if I remember. Anyways, I'm actually happy to be at 174. I don't know if I should rage bolus and try to take that down. But there might be still a lot of insulin left. There's like 3 units left on board, and I feel like raging and taking just in case it would go up. But at the same time I don't. So, you know what? I don't have a CGM right now. I have plenty of finger pokes. Let's just take a unit. I just spent 2.5 to 5 minutes ranting about a Lancet change, so let's move on. Question 3, or prompt 3 for this video, is my motivation. My motivation, I don't understand what this is meaning a little bit. This is a type 1 diabetes challenge. What is it? My motivation to keep myself healthy? Is it my motivation to promote things for diabetes? I'm not quite understanding what this is meaning, but I'll kind of answer this as why I motivate myself to keep myself healthy, and that's because I want to experience so much in my life. I don't want this disease to define me. I don't want this disease to kill me, and I'm going to do anything in my darndest power to keep my blood sugars as normal as possible. Not only is it going to help me for my physical body, I think it mentally makes a difference too. If you fully feel good physically, you can feel good mentally as well as spiritually. So that's my motivation. I guess another thing that motivates me is people like yourself who encouraged me to be a better diabetic and who encouraged me to continue to come out here publicly on YouTube and continue to do this, because as easy as I may make this look, some days when I sit down and go through these videos, it can be absolutely vulnerable for me and almost very difficult to sit down and talk about some of these things, because I sit and wonder, like, okay, what's so-and-so going to believe, or who, whatever. You have to, like, push past that judgment and that fear and just do it, because even if you only help one person, that's my goal, is to help one person. And if I can help one person in my entire life, I'm sure I've helped more people, but if I can help one person in my entire life, that to me is amazing. So I guess I kind of answered that in 2 different formats, but I hope that makes sense. Number 4 is the most annoying misconception. This is mine, and I'm sure a lot of you feel this way. I've had a lot of different misconceptions and myths and all that crap thrown at me since day one, since I was diagnosed from day one, because and actually kind of when I was within the hospital, when they were talking to me about like food counting and carbohydrate counting, this is my oldest, and it is my most it is the misconception that I hate the most, put it that way. And it's, you can't eat that. You know what? Your diet, you really need to just be watching yourself and, eating, basically nothing and blah, blah, blah about diet this and diet that. No, if you are a type 1 diabetic, you are not, and I repeat, you are not restricted in diet. However, I find it easiest for me to eat pretty low carb. I'm not fully like a Dr. Bernstein keto person. Do I enjoy those things a lot? Absolutely, because it makes my management so easy. But if I want that birthday cake, or I want that bowl of ice cream, or I want that bowl of cereal, I will take X units. Or I want to go to McDonald's down the road and eat a McDonald's meal, which will sound good at first, but it may make me nauseous later. Anyways, I will do it. I am not going to sit and let this disease define what I can and can't eat. Like anybody else, no matter if you're diabetic or not, you should really eat in moderation, eat a variety, and I think that's most beneficial. But I hate it when people say, oh, you can't have that. Oh, that's too much sugar for you. Why don't you order this? Or, this is not really for you. Or, you need to be eating this and not this. And you need to be listening to this person and not that person. No, there are a lot of type 1 diabetics that have been successful on both mid-carb to low-carb, like myself. There are also a lot of successful diabetics that are low carb as well as super high carb. So it doesn't really matter so long as you're giving your body enough variety and enough nutrients to support all the vital functions. So that is my misconception that I absolutely hate the most. I'm sure a lot of you can agree with me, and there's tons more other most annoying misconceptions or frustrating misconceptions, but this is by far my biggest pet peeve. Question 5 is kind of this is something Reba does a really nice job with on her Instagram, and it's diabetes and mental health. This is hard because if you live with an autoimmune disease, no matter if it's type 1 diabetes, if it's, you name it, RA, rheumatoid arthritis is also autoimmune. If you live with some sort of chronic autoimmune disease, a chronic disease, it takes a toll on your mental health because you are constantly thinking about it, trying to keep your health as best as you can. If you're a type 1 diabetic, you're basically acting as the role of your beta cells in your pancreas. You are manually controlling, whether or not you have really good technology like I do or not, you are manually, and I repeat, manually controlling your own blood sugars. Manually controlling your own blood sugars is not as fine-tuned as the beautiful, chemically balanced body that a non-diabetic has to deal with, and that can take a drain on your health and mental health, and your health as well eventually. But on your mental health, that is more in the short term, and it can certainly extend into the long term. And that's what I mean with going through burnout. You're going to have days where it's like, I don't give a damn about this, and you're going to be like, whatever, and let your sugars run wild. I've had days like that. I will openly tell you, I've had days where I have not taken care of myself, where I have ate in meals uncovered because I was so sick and tired of dealing with this disease. I was sick and tired of constantly poking myself giving myself insulin, manually controlling my blood sugars, wishing I had my old life back. You can get in those ruts. I will personally tell you, I get in those negative ruts. It's getting yourself out of those negative ruts. How do you do that? First of all, you need to really just sit down and think about what you're going through. Maybe find something healthy to get yourself out of that, to cope with that negativity. You guys know some of my biggest things that I do to cope with negativity. Journaling and art are huge for me, but then also relying on your diabetic friends, relying on your family, relying on some close person that can understand what you're going through or be a sounding board for you. And, you know, depending on if that person is a type 1 diabetic or not, they may understand it on a little bit different basis, but find somebody comfortable that you can talk with. There are a lot of people, I could name dozens of people right now in my head, diabetic and non-diabetic, that I know if I needed to talk to, I could. Now, are there some of those people I talk to more regularly than others just because I know for a fact that they're not going to be uncomfortable? Certainly. But I know I've got a big army that will support me no matter what. And it's getting past those negative actions, those negative thoughts. And the biggest thing for me is God, 100%. Like, you know, like I said, I've had days where I'm like, why in the heck do I have to sit and deal with this for the rest of my life? Why me? Why not somebody else? And the answer to that question is, that's not my plan. This is not in my plan at all. This isn't God's plan, and that's okay. And I'm going to deal with it to the best of my ability, and I'm going to show the world that, hey, type 1 diabetes does not define me, and it never will. So that is my thing with diabetes and mental health. You are a higher risk of having those mental illness, mental health. I don't want to say mental illnesses. I mean, you certainly could have more anxiety, more stress, maybe even depression. I think I have more of like, hey, I'll get anxious over certain things that I maybe don't need to be anxious over for, or I kind of easily jump the gun with anxiety. But as far as depression, I do not consider myself depressed. But there are some people that are like that, and just be open and be accepting of that, because if you're already battling a chronic disease and trying to live your life, that's going to take a toll on your mental health, and that's a huge thing. And even there are probably several chronic autoimmune disease people, type 1 diabetes or not, that live with other mental health illnesses, like maybe bipolar or schizophrenia. Please, I apologize if I'm not using the politically correct term for those illnesses. When I last heard, I took a psychology class like 3.5 years ago. I don't even know anymore. I took a psychology class for college. At the time, we called them like mental health illnesses or mental illnesses, because it's all within your psyche. It's all within, you know, maybe chemical imbalances to genetics to whatever that causes these different mental health illnesses. If you know somebody dealing with any of those, just support them to the best of your ability. You may not fully understand what they're going through, but they need somebody that they can feel comfortable talking with or interacting with if they need to. So that's my 2 cents on mental health and diabetes and mental health in general. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope that it didn't confuse you. So 6th one is syringes, pen, or pump. Now, I've used all 3. When I'm on MDI, I prefer a pen, but currently I use an insulin pump. I have the Tandem T-Slim X2. I've had this pump for almost a year. Prior to that, I had the Omnipod Dash for 1.5 years. And prior to that, I did straight up insulin pens and multiple daily injections for 10 months. So I've used all 3. All 3 have their benefits. All 3 have their cons. Currently, I would be a Tandem T-Slim X2 pump, as well as syringes and an insulin vial. Heaven forbid that I feel like I need to do more beyond my insulin pump. And the last one for this video is talking about Banting's birthday and World Diabetes Day. So that's coming up very shortly. His birthday is November 14th, and today is November 12th. So his birthday is going to be coming up this Sunday. He was born in Canada, and if you're a non-diabetic and don't know the history behind him, he figured out insulin. He literally was able to discover insulin. He opened up a saving grace for type 1 diabetics. By the grace of God, he was here to he did it. He literally he discovered insulin and found out that what its role was in controlling glucose levels in people. I've read some of the history. I don't know fully of it, so I'm not going to try to recite things that aren't 100% true, but he was born in 1891, so that would make him like 120 130 years old, because it's 2021. So he's going to be 130 years old come November 14th, and we honor his birthday as World Diabetes Day. And it's incredible how far we've come since then. The discovery of insulin happened, I believe, I don't quote me on it, it had to have been 1921 or 1920. We're like around a 100-year anniversary of celebrating that. So 100 years ago, diabetes was no longer, type 1 diabetes was really no longer considered a death sentence for most people that could access insulin. And because of that, all of us living with type 1 diabetes are able to be alive. Otherwise, my life would have ended at age 19. Some of you would have had your life end a lot sooner if you would have been if you were diagnosed much younger, or maybe some of you much older would have lived a little longer than died older, or anybody who will be diagnosed in the future, they would have died at that age no matter at what point. So it's absolutely incredible how far we've come since then, from the just distributing insulin to how we test our blood sugar, to all the different technology that's advanced. And I only can see that continue to progress and be better. As far as a cure is concerned, I know we're probably on, I know they keep saying, oh, it's going to be this many years. And I don't want to sit and listen to that. I sit and hope on it. But to me, a super really good treatment would be just as well as a cure. Now, if a cure was here, I would sooner give it to my children than myself, because I've gotten so used to this disease. It really, honestly, to me, to go back to it would be a little funny for me. Like, I don't know how I would handle myself, I guess, because I've just gotten so used to being a giant pincushion that I don't know how I would respond. But anyways, I certainly hope that continuing to celebrate and advocate for diabetes will only get us closer and closer to a really good treatment or a cure. Banting's birthday, November 14th. I know there's an option for you to sign an e-card. I'm not sure if I did it last year and the year before. I don't know if it's like a specific website or anything like that. I've seen it floating around on Beyond Type 1. And a lot of people have wrote some absolutely beautiful messages that inspire me and touch my heart to read. And wishing him a happy birthday, even though he is obviously no longer here with us, that we still honor this person and don't forget about all the contributions he's made in the medical field, and especially for type 1 diabetics. So going forward here, I hope you have a great World Diabetes Day. It's on Sunday. I'm going to wear blue that day, of course, because blue is the universal color for type 1 diabetes. November is the entire Diabetes Awareness Month because of Banting's birthday, and then we just specifically honor World Diabetes Day on that day. Remember, you're greater than your highs and lows. Remember, you're greater than this disease, and you can continue to live whatever you want to do and dream whatever you want to dream with this disease. Don't let any person tell you you can't, no matter if that person is somebody you know and trust or is a complete stranger. Do not let any person define what you want to do. Anyways, with that being said, I think I'm going to end this video, considering it's probably now closer to my 30-minute normal average time. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. Feel free to hit that subscribe button. I post as often as I can about type 1 diabetes, plus more. Please stay tuned for weeks 3 and 4 of Diabetes Awareness Month. I will continue to answer these prompts on Reba Redmond's Instagram challenge. I will remember to link my Genteel cleaning video as well as my Genteel review, as well as Reba Redmond's Instagram. If you want to go check her out, certainly go ahead and do that. But anyways, until next time for another video, as always, take care, God bless, be kind, spread positivity, and be thankful. And I love you all so much. Have a great rest of your week. Bye, everyone.